Thank you so much for joining us.
WLBT's First Alert Weather Team is keeping you up to date with the latest information. From your morning commute to your afternoon drive, we're on your side, streaming on your favorite devices. WLBT First Alert Weather Plus. WLBT's First Alert Weather Team is committed to your safety with 6 hours of continuous team coverage.
This is a relentless storm, Dave.
We're fortunate we all made it out alive.
And our network of skycams across the state alerting you to danger, bringing you live footage of tornadoes as they touch down in Wathau County.
Look at this, Chase. Guys, look at that.
This is ground zero almost. I mean, this is really hard to stomach, like I said.
We take our commitment to being on your side seriously, and together we're Mississippi Strong. Weekdays, stream First Alert Weather Plus.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
WLBT's First Alert Weather Team is keeping you up to date with the latest information. From your morning commute to your afternoon drive, we're on your side, streaming on your favorite devices. WLBT First Alert Weather Plus.
Hello.
Hi.
Happy Thursday. Happy 2 days before First Alert Weather Days.
Yeah. And we certainly have those coming in this weekend. And the main story, unfortunately for us, it's ice. That's basically, just to get straight to it, we're looking at possible accumulation at various points in the weekend, depending on where you are. So we have 3 different shaded colors on this map of central Mississippi that represents the timing. So the blue areas, we could potentially see some ice falling as early as the early hours of your Saturday morning. In the purple area, kind of right through the center, that's Saturday evening. And then we expect pretty much the rest of our area by your Sunday morning, as we have cold temperatures and, once again, rain at the same time. So potential for freezing rain, sleet in some areas is what we're tracking as we head throughout the weekend.
Yeah, so that's our first concern. Our second concern is going to be dangerous cold. Of course, that goes hand in hand with winter weather creeping into the picture. And once the dangerous cold gets here, it looks like a lot of places are not going to come back above freezing. That is why this is going to be kind of a lingering event as we head into the start of next week. Now, right now, Saturday and Sunday are our First Alert Weather Days. Only a portion of the area will see ice form on a Saturday. But Sunday, notice our temperatures are closer to freezing. Once we go below freezing Saturday night into Sunday, some places will not come above freezing again, potentially until Tuesday. So any precipitation that falls in that time frame or is already frozen is just going to stay there. So that's our major concern. But also keep in mind that you need to be remembering all 4 Ps. We still have time before this gets here. That's what I keep trying to reiterate. I don't want people to get, too bogged down on totals or whatever. We do have to, of course, focus on timing of when it's going to get here, but you've still got plenty of time to do your preparations before this event starts. And that's going to include people, pets, pipes, and plants. This time around, you need to start dripping your faucets Saturday evening, and likely in most places, leave them dripping until Tuesday.
Yes, for sure. That's what we're looking at. Very cold temperatures moving in. But this, of course, is going to coincide with chances for rain. And that's what is going to be for most of the area on your Saturday, although we're looking in the lower Delta region. So we mentioned earlier on the map, the northwestern counties and throughout North Mississippi as well. That's where you're going to see ice starting off on your Saturday. But look at these showers that we have popping up closer to I-20 on your Saturday afternoon, mostly rain. But we're kind of right on the cusp. And we're looking at the freezing line. That's really what's going to be the deciding factor for this weekend. It's because we're so close to 32 degrees. Just a few degrees making a huge difference.
And the thing is that freezing line is going to be a fine line. So in the areas which right now looks essentially to be along Interstate 20 for that early part of Saturday, where you're teetering, you could be going up and down above freezing relatively often. So the line is going to change. It's not like we're going to get to freezing and just stay there. And this particular model actually has us going below freezing briefly on Saturday afternoon, but then the freezing line receding a little bit through the overnight and into early Sunday.
Right. It's definitely, just like Elise was saying, it's very finicky and not really a solid line. So that's one thing that adds in so much uncertainty to the forecast, that a few spots, you'll just have rainfall, but then maybe not even in the same county, really, you'll have on the other side of the county more freezing conditions and ice accumulation. So it's just going to be one of those instances where it's really important to be careful and to stay vigilant as far as what we are looking at. But we already have we are already looking at some warnings ahead of this, or I should say watch. What we're looking at is the watches.
We have both watches and warnings. So we have winter storm watches for most of the area. And in the southern delta, you've got ice storm warnings already issued. Those are going to be from Friday through Sunday for now, because that's when the impacts, again, will start, could start, and will linger through. So the winter storm watch is going to be the blue, the ice storm warning for those 3 counties in purple.
Yes, and that extends all the way up further to North Mississippi. I know earlier I was talking with a couple anchors. They have students at Ole Miss or even Mississippi State. I know my entire family lives in North Mississippi. So there we are talking about ice for the entire time, ice storm warning, even a couple of inches of accumulation possible. So if you know anyone in North Mississippi, definitely tell them to be aware of that it is likely that we could see things like not only travel being nearly impossible, but limbs down, power lines down, power outages. That's an issue that we're talking about across North Mississippi. But here in Central Mississippi, since we are closer to that, we're kind of walking the line between freezing. We have a little bit more leeway. We're not looking at as high of the accumulation. We'll have more liquid precipitation, but still we could see some travel impacts. And in the lower delta, what we're talking about, that's where we're more likely to have some of the potential infrastructure concerns as well.
Yeah, so we'll have some mixture for most of the area of freezing rain, sleet, and rain, cold rain at that. It looks like most of Saturday is going to end up being cold rain, and Sunday is where we're going to see greater potential to have freezing rain or sleet, that wintry mix that we've been talking about. That is going to lead us to worst case scenario, pretty decent accumulations of ice in areas that are highlighted in red here. That's pretty much north of the Natchez Trace. Along and south of the Trace, it looks more like it's going to be patchy ice to maybe enough to see some falling tree limbs. And of course, that itself can cause power outages, but power line issues themselves falling are more likely in the areas that are highlighted in red. So we do have a question. We did have someone say, do we need to prepare for losing power in Jackson? It doesn't look like it's not likely in Jackson, but it is still possible that we see some power outages here in the capital city. It is much more likely as you go further to the north and the west.
Yeah, especially looking at even best case scenario, you're still in the shaded red region, Issaquena, Sharkey, Humphreys, really no matter what. So there, the further north you go, the more certain we are that we're seeing a lot of that ice. But it certainly wouldn't hurt to prepare. It's definitely not, we never want anyone to panic for anything. Don't go panic buy, don't freak out. But it wouldn't hurt to have a plan in case a worst case scenario happens here in the metro. But like Elise said, we're not really looking at the type of accumulation where we likely have like power lines falling here in the metro, but definitely a plan to not really be able to use the roads on Sunday. Plan to kind of stay inside.
Stay home.
Yes, for Sunday and Monday.
Yes, for Sunday and Monday. Not because anything else will be accumulating on Monday, but because we'll still be frozen. We won't have seen things thaw out just yet on Monday. So do those preparations. I don't know if you have that graphic in there that we've been talking about this week. Of course, your 4 Ps, people, pets, pipes, and plants. So just plan on having to drip your faucets. Go ahead and cover everything that's outside. Make sure your pets have somewhere warm to go, and check in on all your people. For yourself, go ahead and pick up your medications. You still have today and tomorrow to do that. You don't have to rush. Check your smoke detectors and all that good stuff. Have a backup heat source. If you have a generator, get some gas for your generator. This is not likely to cause long lasting power outages in the metro because we're not going to be dealing with as much of that potential ice. And as you go further to the south, you're probably not going to have very many impacts past Sunday, because by Monday you could get above freezing. You could even be above freezing on Sunday and not have to deal with very much as far as ice is concerned. But as you go further to the north, certainly do stock up on some food and water. We're not going to be frozen in our houses for a week, is what I want to point out here. Everyone has already stocked up on food and water. I tried to get some bread for sandwiches last night and the shelves were empty. So if you already got your, oh, I'm sorry, my dress is looking funny on this camera. So sorry. If you've already got food and water, you're good to go heading into this weekend. Frankly, whatever groceries you already had at the house would probably have sufficed, but that's just my opinion.
Unless, a lot of people eat out though. If
That's
you planned
true.
on having your Sunday night dinner out, you were going to go out to eat or you're going to order your lunch, that's probably not going to be able to happen.
Yeah,
So
not this weekend.
Yeah. So if you need to get
I hear
preparation
that.
so you can cook for a couple of days, I know a lot of people that the plan is just to go out, especially on the weekend.
Yeah, it's the weekend. So I get that.
This is going to
maybe you were waiting to do your eating out this weekend. This is not going to be the weekend to eat out.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
A little bit of an interruption, but once again, like we've been reiterating, not a panic. It's just something to be aware of. Mostly, you're likely not going to be able to use the roadways. So be able to kind of stay wherever you are for the end of the weekend, have something to snack on. But once again, we don't have to panic buy the whole grocery store because we'll be back to normal by Tuesday.
Yeah.
At the latest.
Most places will be back to normal by Tuesday.
Yeah.
Everybody will start to thaw out on Tuesday. So if you do end up dealing with power outages, then the power companies will be able to get on the roads by Tuesday and start getting people's power back. Not everyone is going to lose power from this system, but it is possible, again, especially as you go further to the north and the west. Let's see. We got a lot of people in the comments. Let's see if we have any other questions. Stay warm. Stay warm.
Yeah.
Definitely stay warm. We talked about power. Kelly, I have been to the store. I know everyone started panic buying 2 days ago. I just told you I couldn't get any bread.
Yeah.
Will there be severe tornado weather this Saturday night? That's not looking like it's in our forecast.
No. That's
our severe weather for this weekend is winter weather.
Yeah. It's very difficult to have that type of energy in the atmosphere when it's 30 degrees too.
Yeah.
We usually it's usually a bit warmer when we have the
Yes.
tornado weather.
We're not going to go into specifics of this city and that city. Can you put the one that says roads on the bottom row right there?
Roads.
Yeah,
This is it?
yeah.
Okay.
This is where you're going to see the most accumulations, where it's going to impact both roads and power lines. Likely. This is still just a forecast. We're really not going to know until we start seeing things fall.
Yes, it's like we were saying a moment ago with that freezing line.
Yeah.
Now
It's going to be very dependent on that.
There was a comment earlier I saw specifically calling out Macomb. Now, the further south you are, the more likely you are to be okay.
Yes.
But especially when you're closer to the metro area, so especially Hines and Madison County, you're kind of right on that border where even the northern part of the county could see a lot more. Southern part of the county could very well just be rain. It's kind of just where the temperature just happens to be at the magic number, basically.
Yes, it really is going to be a magic number for this weekend. Tyler Rowland is saying all the rain that falls is still going to freeze over. That is true, but it's also going to be windy. Dave and I were just talking about this before. The wind is going to help to evaporate some of the moisture on the roads before we freeze. So that will help some. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to prevent us from having ice, but yes, there will be some puddles that will freeze as well. But that would help to make it even patchier, especially as you head further to the south. In the metro area, we are going to see some ice. I'm not saying that we're not going to have any ice. It's just more likely that it's more impactful and a little longer lasting the further north and west you go. That's where it's going to impact both roads and power lines. In the metro and this area that you see kind of in between the lighter and the darker colors, that's where it's more likely to impact roads and trees potentially. And then the further south you go, patchy ice is still going to impact the roads. So keep in mind that no matter where you are in central Mississippi, this is going to prevent you from getting on the roads. Just plan on staying at home until Tuesday, if you can. There's still some indication, Joe, that we maybe see a little bit of snowflakes at the end. It's not going to be measurable snow that tops it off and makes it something pretty to look at, unfortunately. Not for us. In North Mississippi, maybe.
Yeah, we'll have a better picture of that also as we head to tomorrow, because we'll have the longer or short range models will be able to stretch towards Sunday. Because if there were a time for snowflakes to fall, it would be at the end of the system and be on your Sunday, which our short term models are not really reaching Sunday afternoon yet.
Yeah.
But that's when we would see any. But like Elise said, we're not expecting really meaningful accumulation of snow here.
Right. But we will have meaningful accumulation of ice for most places. Those impacts could start as early as Saturday morning. The further north you go, they could start as late as Sunday morning, the further south you go. Most of the area along and south of the Natchez Trace is probably just going to get cold rain on Saturday because it will be too warm to have the freezing precipitation south of the Trace. North of the Trace, you'll be teetering on that freezing line most likely. So we will probably see some of that ice already forming as early as Saturday morning. I think that covers it. Yeah. That's really the latest. This is ever changing with every model because, again, that freezing line teeters in our models. We've got questions about specific places. The best we got is north of the Trace, most likely south of the Trace, still possible.
Yes, and of course we'll have more specific updates heading closer to the weekend. Chief Meteorologist Dave Roberts and Elise Usman will be back here tonight at 6:30. I'll be back here at the same time tomorrow. And then you'll see us popping in and out, pretty much the whole team through the weekend, it seems like. Yeah.
And then as far as the cold is concerned, keep in mind we're going to likely have hard freezes in most of the area from Sunday night through Tuesday morning. So also be prepared for that. Temperatures on Sunday and Monday for the metro are going to be around freezing. As you go further north, they will be below freezing that whole time. As you go further south, you'll have some time to thaw in between, but temperatures in the teens Sunday night and Monday night. Anyways, that's all we got for right now. So tune in at 3 if they've got weather on Studio 3 today. Annea's going to be there. I'll be on WLBT News at 4 and 4:30, and Dave will be on at 5 and 6. Like Annea said, we'll be back here at 6:30 with another digital forecast. You guys stay warm. Everyone's saying that. Keep your umbrellas on hand for the rest of today and into tomorrow. We still got scattered showers with our mild weather for the next couple of days. We'll talk to you later.